Imagine spending 20 to 30,000 pounds to study in the UK and just not to be eligible to get like a post-study work visa, which is called a graduate visa. Now let me walk you through the process. When you apply for the university from your home country, you get the course, and then you pay some advance money, and then you try to manage your accommodation. You try to just arrange your accommodation. You spend money on your tickets and all that. Then you land here. Then you try to find work for that for 20 hours in a week, and sometimes more cash in hand. I know about that because I was once an international student. You do all this, and then finally you're actually you're studying as well, but now finally you're actually approaching towards the end of your degree. And then you find out that university is accusing you of some academic misconduct, because they said you cheated in an exam because of ChatGPT. I mean using ChatGPT, not because of ChatGPT, using ChatGPT. And or sometimes it says you failed a module, you actually give your reset, but even after giving the reset, they say we're not going to release your results until this date. Now when you look at the date, it's usually past your visa expiration date, and now you're panicking because what you're gonna do, because there are two requirements to get a post-study work visa. First, you have successfully finished your degree, and the second condition is you have to be in the UK when you're applying for the visa. Now if they release your results or they publish your results after the your visa expiration date, obviously you will not be legally in the country, and now you're panicking. So these are the two most common concerns that I normally hear from international students, and they in this sort of situation, I know, it's a very stressful situation, and they don't know what to do in this sort of situation. Let me explain this to you with two scenarios. Okay, the first scenario, someone came to me and he said okay, he failed one module, okay, and he was actually allowed to give a resit. He gave a resit and he failed the resit as well. Okay, and now he had to just take the module again. He had to pay again, and he had to go for another attempt. So he went for another attempt, but this time he passed in the first attempt. Okay, but now this is the time where he had to take some more classes and all that, where his classmates passed the degree and all that, and now he was the only one left. But now he contacted his program leader, and the program leader said yeah, you passed the module, which means officially your degree is finished, we can publish the results and all that, but university will not tell Home Office that you have finished your degree until this date, because this is the official date when we actually publish our results. And there is the exam board and things like that, they check and things like that, the whole story. Now the student was panicking, and he was not sure what to do, and because one of the biggest attraction that international students usually for international students is that post-study work visa, that once you finish your degree you get 2 years of work permit, which allows you to just work wherever, so you can just gain some experience, things like that. And potentially if you are working 2 years with some sort of a good company, they sometimes they sponsor you as well, and leading towards your settlement. So yeah, this is what it is. Now another scenario where someone said I had to fill a questionnaire relating to my degree program, and the questionnaire is filled from the home country, his home country, because he was not able to find all 100 people. He pushed his questionnaire everywhere on Facebook groups, and he pushed his questionnaire in friends group and everywhere, but somehow he was not able to achieve that number. So what he did was he sent the questionnaire to his friends and family in his home country, and they said there is sort of a academic misconduct because the questionnaire was not filled from the UK. And then they said this academic misconduct, and then they also accused him that you did use AI as well to summarize your research and things like that. Now he was actually freaking out because university told him because of the academic misconduct, they're gonna actually cancel his visa, cancel his sponsorship. They're gonna tell Home Office, and now that person had to leave the country for within 60 days. As you know, when university withdraws the sponsorship, they normally say when once we update Home Office, you'll have to leave the country within 60 days from the day you get the email. Now this is also a very stressful situation, because obviously you didn't spend all that money to just see this, that your visa is your sponsorship is cancelled and you have to just leave the country, and you're not going to get PSW, so all the money it's just all gone. So yeah, one more important thing when it comes to international students, that when they are in this sort of situation, they try to seek help from their program leader, course leaders, module leaders, your student union, things like that, and no one actually replies. Even immigration office, the person I was talking about, who actually when university told him your visa is cancelled, the second scenario, I mean, like, he had no freaking help, like, no one was replying. So at this point, you actually have to realize that you are not just a student, you are a paying client as well. And if you feel that you have not done anything wrong, you have all the right to challenge their decisions, and you have all the right to actually, like, take it to a different level. So in this video, I'm going to summarize like what you can do if you're in a stressful situation like this. And I would say, like, not loopholes, but something like which is being in practice, like, if universities releasing or like publishing your result late, what you should do, because this thing is in practice for like last 2 years now, what I can see. So I mean, like, why not? I can just share that information with you. I can tell you. So let's get into it. So once again, like, if there's a scenario where university is saying that they're gonna publish your result on a certain date, and you feel like it's past your visa expiration date, what you should do, because obviously university says that has to go through a like formal board of examination and things like that, and like, that's it, and after that you're gonna get it. Normally what people do is they still apply for their PSW, okay, and but like, they do not scan their BRP. Now BRPs are expired now, but what they try to do is they try to get the fingerprints date, like, the one like biometric dates. But what they normally do is, I'm not just saying, like, this has been in practice for very long, they try to take the appointment late as possible, right? It's somewhere like, after 30 days or something like that, because I mean, like, there is a formal system where, like, you can just click, further dates, but the problem is that, like, you can't just keep clicking it. It can't be like 2028. Your biometric date cannot go that far. So it could be like somewhere like 30 days. So what they do is they normally select the last date, and then after that, in a few weeks, you can just always just go back onto the website. You can cancel your appointment and reschedule again, and I can just pick another further date, and that's how, like, you can just be here legally in the UK. Now, why I'm saying legally in the UK, because once you file your application, once you put your application in the system, you are legally in the UK. Your actual status, like the previous status, it carries forward, and then now you can actually wait for time when your the result gets published, and now you're fully ready, and you can just go give your biometrics. So this is one of the very common method, like very common. I mean, like, once again, I don't want to say like a trick, but it's a procedure, like, what you can do, like, you just schedule your biometric date later and later, and you just reschedule it until you get your result. So that's the first thing. Now, but the second scenario is very critical, where, like, you do not get a chance to apply for your visa, have any grounds, because you did not pass your degree, because now university is accusing you of academic misconduct. So this is a very stressful situation, to be very honest, but we will talk later, like, how we can cater that as well. At the end of the video, I'll just give you a few tips and tricks to just avoid that. Now, in this sort of scenario, always remember something that I told you before, that you're not just a student, you are a paying client to the university as well. So definitely at this stage, you'll be sending emails to your course leaders, your immigration office, and a student union and everything. And, like, a lot of times you will not hear anything back. If you're calling the immigration office, they might not be giving you any sort of help. They'll say like, yeah, we have to follow the university procedure, like, this procedure and that procedure, like the formal board procedure. At this stage, we can't do anything. And, like, sometimes they're so cruel. They say, like, not everyone is eligible for, like, the PSW, but, like, for international student, PSW is the biggest attraction. That's why, just international students, they come here so they can get, like, 2 years work visa. They can work freely. Now, in this sort of scenario, these are all informal communications, where you're actually calling the immigration office, you're contacting your course leader, all that. You have to actually look at the formal complaint procedure. You have to go to the university's website. You have to look at the formal complaint procedure, and you have to start the formal complaint procedure for the university. But obviously, you can start the formal complaint procedure if you have some valid grounds, to be very fair. So why I'm saying, like, you have valid grounds is mainly because you can't be just copying everything from AI. University professors and university systems are, like, to be very fair, like, not dumb. They would just not believe your words, like, did not copy it. So if you actually copied everything from AI, like, you just made the whole research paper, like, whole assignment from AI, it's not a fair use. You should know, like, it's not a fair use. So I would definitely not recommend to just proceed with it, your complaint procedure. You have to quit, and, like, you have to accept the fate. But in case you just had, took a very fair sort of, like, assistance from AI, you use it for research, and like, you have this was a part of your efforts, actually. and it was not a part of like, you know, cheating. So if it's a part of your efforts, now you know you have grounds, you can prove that you have actually prepared your research yourself. So formal complaint procedure is the most important thing. So you have to get into formal put a formal complaint forward. Also, you have to contact everyone, like not by phone. You have to go in person, you have to meet them, and you have to alert them that like I'm starting a formal complaint procedure. So you simply go to your course leader, you have to meet them. A lot of time, I know they're not going to meet you as well. They might say like, I'm busy, I don't have time available. But definitely you'll have to make all efforts. You have to make them aware that you're actually starting a formal complaint procedure, because before that everything is informal. So if like, you know, if you're just doing like informal sort of like, you know, follow-ups and all that, that might not get noticed. So you have to start a formal complaint procedure. That's the first thing. Now, second important thing is you have to actually tell your university that you're going to pursue it to every freaking stage, which means like, you know, if you know, your complaint is not resolved, or in case like, you know, you're not being answered properly, you're not being treated properly, then you're going to take it to a different level. And definitely at this stage you might have to think about like suing the university as well. It might, you know, feel odd to you, but yes, you should think about like taking it to the independent board first, like, you know, putting your concerns there. And normally at this stage you get, you know, your result to be very fair, like, because they're absolutely fair. They actually look at all the scenarios, you know, very, I mean, like, fairly. And at this stage, normally, if you are at right, I mean, like, you know, you get the decision in your favor. Now you have to keep one thing in mind, that as I said, that you have to be the judge first. You have to see like, you know, what sort of like, you know, coursework you have submitted, what sort of cheating you've done, or you have paid someone to do your assignment and things like that. And, you know, a lot of times like students, they pay to people like, you know, some 200, 250 pounds to just make their research paper and all that. And they do not even proofread it. They do not just actually see like, you know, if it's even relevant or something like that. So if you have done something like that, please do not pursue. I would say like, you know, you just have to go for legal advice. Now, in the other scenario, as I said, like, you know, you have to tell your university, complaint departments, things like that, and have to make every freaking thing documented, because you need as much proof as you want. Okay, you have to just come out with like, you know, a proper evidence, all right? And then you have to actually seek some legal advice. To be very honest, at this stage you need solicitors, and you have to contact, you know, solicitors. In that sort of scenario, usually you go apply for a further leave to remain, FLR, which is usually granted, and like, you know, you can just pursue your case. And obviously at that stage you'll definitely, because remember this, that you're not just fighting to just pass and just like, you know, get your PSW. You're fighting because you have you know, invested all this money, all this time, everything, you know, just to get this PSW, like 2 years work visa. So you just don't want to let it go. So remember this. If I summarize this whole thing, I mean, like, it's super simple, that you have to stand your grounds, to be very fair. I mean, like, you know, if you haven't done anything wrong, then you can just go to any level. The problem is a lot of students, they get scared and they just try to, you know, find different ways to stay in the country. They try to just like, everyone knows, like, you know, students, international students, they pay for visa sponsorship like 15 to 20 grand, 25 grand in some cases, to get like care worker visas and things like that. And I'm not sure like how the system is still not caught, how the system is still active. I'm really not sure, because it's supposed to be like, you know, this is a crime, to be very fair. Like, you know, given a work visa in exchange of money, it's supposed to be for like people who are highly skilled workers, and like, you know, and companies usually make a use of them for the next 5 years. With their efforts. But like, you know, students, they normally go for 20, 25,000. So my question is, if you have to spend 15 to 20 grand or 25,000 to buy a care visa or something like that, why not just like, you know, spend some less money and just sue the university so you can actually stay on a legal path? Because you know, a lot of times when you actually buy a visa, they exploit you as well, because they know you've paid for the visa, you can't go anywhere. They give you like, you know, jobs for like £7 an hour. They exploit you. They give you like, you know, a lot of hours, because they know that you can't complain anywhere. You can't just go to the home office and say like, this company is exploiting me because I paid money for the visa. Obviously you can't say that, because you cannot admit your own you know, crime as well, which is a crime. I do not advise this, to be very fair, like, you know, to buy visas for 20, 25 grand. Like, you know, instead of that, you just work on your own thing, your own skills, and just try to find you know, visas naturally, okay, with you, based on your skills. And that's it. Well, also, like, you know, a lot of times students, they think like United Kingdom is the only country where you can just like, you know, live and make money and things like that. You always have like, you know, the whole world where you can just go and like, you know, utilize your what do you call it, like, you know, your expertise, and you can just get you know, residence and settlement, and yeah, that's it. Now the final part where I said like I'll talk about some tips and tricks. The tips and tricks are like never cheat, the first important thing. The second thing is like if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini or any other software, any platform, just use it very, very intelligently. Use it for just the research, to be very, very fair, like just for the research. And I'm very, very sure, like even if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini for research purposes, you get enough content. You can just write, you can rephrase, you can just like, make a whole report. In this sort of situation, obviously like the assistance is there, like I think from ChatGPT and Gemini, but you're not just copying and pasting your assignments and like, your research program, thinking like you just think about it, that your visa is dependent on this research, like the final project or something like that. And you're just like cheating, or you're just paying someone money. So do not do that. Think that you have invested a lot of money, you have paid money to the university. Why not, when you came here to learn, why not take this time to learn actually, right? Stop thinking about like the job, like a food delivery job that you're doing for like some £8 an hour cash in hand, and like just putting your future, your degree at stake. Do not do that. Use this time, get some assistance, dedicate some time to invest on your degree, on learning opportunities, learn about things legally, and like submit your research program. So this is like my advice. It used to be really, really hard to write research papers when there were no ChatGPT, no Gemini, but now with few questions you can get all the answers. And when you get all the answers, you can definitely rephrase it. You can just like see what more you can do with your degree, and like what more you can put in your research. And this is the best way, because this is going to help you actually get your degree in a legal way as well. Like something you spend the money for, like 16 grand at least that you spend on your degree. Which if I say like master's degree, why not learn something, right? So yeah, this is like these are two scenarios. If there is any other scenario, please let me know in the comments and we can talk about it. But as a bottom line, I would say like if you know you are at right, do not let it go. Tell your university, you will just go everywhere. You'll go to the court, any platform which would actually secure you, because also you're a paying client and you're not at wrong. You haven't done anything wrong. If you haven't done anything wrong, you should not be afraid of anything, any results, any consequences. But universities, they do have some sort of responsibility, including the responsibility like the well-being of students as well. So if they have put you in a stress and they have put you like in sort of a in an affair, you have all the right to actually take them to the court, to be very, very fair. This is not a lawless country. The country has laws, and you should know that if you are at right, the result will be in your favor. I hope this video is useful for you. If there is any other scenarios, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to reply in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.